this was just 10 minutes of insanity that is the beginning of the show. So,
Prelude.
yeah, I know. So welcome in, guys. We have someone that actually did something, for once in their life, and actually, yeah, that guy.
Talking to me? That's
Yeah,
rude.
dude.
It's not
Yeah,
very
I mean,
nice.
Curtis has done stuff.
I know.
What are you
Yeah.
getting at here?
Well, I mean,
I haven't done
Curtis.
anything. Jake's
Curtis
done
is
a
just.
ton. Jacob's done a ton of stuff.
Yeah, you
A
got
lot.
Jacob
Whole bunch.
Gettins in here.
Way
What are you
more.
talking
No.
about?
No, I want to hit up you, Brandon, first, because you actually showed up to a VDC round
Yeah.
and did some stuff. As he's eating,
Thank you.
maybe
Yeah.
I should just come back to you.
That's okay. Sorry. I'm hungry.
Let him wrap
lad.
up. Let him wrap up the ramen.
I know.
Yeah, it's actually some sort. It's Alfredo. Yeah,
Oh.
Alfredo. Yeah,
It's Italian ramen.
with some basil. Good, and fresh. But yeah, I did do one a VDC event for the first time. Been a while coming, but yeah, it was good. It was fun.
What was the track and what car did you run?
I run a 36 E36. Good car, best
Yes.
car even some may say, but
Yes.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the
Track was, I don't know if it's a real life track, to be honest. It's called Castelletto. I think it's a fantasy track, but the
Okay.
layout's very fun. Very fun. I think it's 5 transitions or so and 10 clips. It's a lot of corners, but
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, and your boy Zach got second.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we had Zach on, what was it, a couple months ago, at least, or a month ago.
Yeah.
So that was good to see. He's fighting for the championship, though, right?
Yeah, he's leading by like 46 points or so. It was a
Wow.
good day because
Mm-hmm.
I sponsor him, so I like give him parts and
Right.
help him out in some real life stuff here and there. So it's a good day either way if I won or not. So it was good.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. And Kurtis, we got Kurtis back for another week. You had so much to do, and you're just like, you know what? Move it to Thursday. So we decided to move it to Thursday just for Kurtis.
Okay, we can go with that.
Yep.
I was playing electrician and trying not to electrocute myself, so it's all.
It was definitely me though. It was definitely me that had to push it on Thursday. So I'll take the blame on that one.
Yeah, you're good, buddy. I do have this isn't an electrician story. This is we had to evacuate our house last night story.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
So last night at like 1 a.m, I saw a message on our heating or whatever the temperature thing's called.
Thermostat?
Nest.
Thermostat, yeah. And it was like, yeah, it's been asking for heat for the last 2 hours and it hasn't gotten any. So I went down, looked at the furnace, and it wasn't working, obviously. And I could slightly tell a natural gas smell. And then, of course, told the wife. She came down, kind of was like, could smell it more and more every time it would try and light off. And so she obviously called consumers and they told us to evacuate. So that was fun.
Sick.
Yeah, you were turning your house into a bomb, dude.
I know,
Yeah.
dude. It was good. It's
Fun
all fixed
time.
now. It was just the lighter. It wasn't lighting, basically. And so every time it would try to light, it would just spray natural gas into the house. So, yeah.
They make sensors and everything for that to tell you
Yeah.
if you have like a bunch in there that's going to take you out.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was that bad, but I don't know. Yeah, when you got the little one around, you're just like, yeah, just why not? Probably
Yeah,
shouldn't take
probably for the
chances,
best.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
exactly. But yeah, so that was my last night. So we're running on about, again, same as Jake, about 2 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep, if that. But yeah, we got Jacob Gettins into the house. I know it's been a busy week for you, and you're just trying to get through the week. It sounds like.
Yeah, getting there.
Bye, Brandon.
Oh, we lost Brandon already.
It's okay.
No, just I got that flu cold thing that everyone's kind of. I don't know if it hit you guys up north, but I know down here it's been pretty nasty. So
Well, it's the
just
temperature change,
fighting
right?
through that. Yeah, it's actually it was like 30 degrees this morning. Like legitimately, there was frost on my windshield, and I was like, I live in Florida now. I moved here to eliminate this problem.
Yeah, but
Right.
you're like used to it, right?
Yeah, no, I'm used to both, but I'd prefer there not be any frost in Florida.
Right. Yeah, no. Brandon told me, he's like, it's so cold here. There's actually snow on the ground and it might stay. I'm like, yeah, well, that's me every winter.
How it's supposed to be in the South, you know? It's supposed to maybe a little flurry here and there, and that's about it, you know? But
It's frozen here right now. It's miserable. It's
Yeah.
so cold.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, and people wonder why I don't love Michigan. But yeah, so we are in for another fun day today, I think. There's been a lot of news when it comes around the drifting space. I mean, people are starting to announce different things. I think the biggest announcement, and probably the one we're going to talk about the most, is the Drift Masters lineup announcements. Talk about some lineup changes for real. I think I counted 8 different drivers compared to the previous year, if I'm correct in that. It might be give or take 1 or 2. I was trying to do math on the fly.
9 new drivers this year.
9 new drivers? Okay. So I was one off.
Although they're not all like brand new, like it depends on how you count them, but new full time this season.
Yeah, like I think Nassar wasn't a full timer, now he is this year, for example. But it's interesting because Driftmasters, they do a 36 driver count. As like the season, even when you call it like the season pass drivers or whatever, like the guys that are supposed to be there all year, and then you get the wild cards. So even though you didn't see a lot of drivers on that list, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a lot of the drivers that weren't on the list maybe come out for a round or two, just do the wild card system.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I mean, I can run through the list if you want. I've got it in front of me.
Yeah, well, I can bring it up too. I have it right here. At least I have the pictures, and I have to change it on your end, so you guys are looking at that.
That's all good.
There you go.
Yeah, so like to confirm who's out is Toran Lekavia, Uran Nielsen, Adam Zaleski, Naoki Nakamura, Bagsy Begioni, Timo Patola, Pontus Hartman, and Fionn Roach. Didn't do that off the top of my head, by the way. That was all from Drift Chat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we have last year's lineup right here. This is last year's lineup, as you said. Tor, basically this whole line. Oran Nielsen. How do you say Oran's name?
Uran.
Yeah, Naoki, Bagsy, like you said, Adam. Fionn, right, is not in this year. Fionn. But yeah, so some big changes, and this is okay. I want to know. So we got, or obviously these are like the main lineup. Or the obvious guys. Yeah, Connor Shanahan, Peter Vicek is back. Jack Shanahan, Paul Korpelinski, Dean Besser, Heinonen, Randalou, Falvey, Zacharul, Keski Korpi, and Seda. Ite. I don't know how to say Ite's name. Sorry. But these are your general guys. But what I was asking is the way that they do the selection process, just overall. Do you think a lot of these changes were, hey, you got to a certain place and then had to... Sorry, I just realized Kurtis is gone.
What? No, I'm not.
Or no, never mind.
He's just very still.
No.
Yeah, can you move around a little bit to make sure we know you're live?
Dude, it turns out that if I don't move, I become invisible.
Never mind, I'll explain it later.
I see what the problem is.
But no, what I was going to ask is, what... Is it because of maybe a financial reason, life change reasons that a lot of these guys have been changed, or do you think it's like the placement where they were at last year and they just brought in new people? Or is it just kind of depends on the scenario?
Yeah, I think it depends on the scenario. Like Tornikavia's got a baby on the way, so that's his. Uran, I can't confirm. Adam Zaleski didn't run a full season last year.
Right.
Naoki, I mean, he more or less had a ride through Volino. So I don't know what's happening there. Bagsy didn't run a full season.
Yeah.
Timo Patola, I don't think qualified any of the rounds. Pontus Hartman, I'm not sure. And Fionn had an okay season for a rookie, but it wasn't great.
Right.
So, those are like the quick, easy ones. So I think some of it is just they did not get high enough in the ranks to renew. Or didn't have like a solid reason. But yeah, it really just depends. I mean,
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna be sad. Naoki's not it. I thought he was like one of the more fun drivers. At least when I was out there filming, the dude, even in practice, was going bananas.
Yeah,
Dude is a fun guy. Tor, I think, is another big loss when it comes
that's
to
a huge loss.
competition for the championship. Like, dude might be, in my opinion, one of the most underrated drivers, at least over in Europe. Just with how competitive that guy is.
I mean, you could say he's the best driver to come out of Norway since Frederick Osbo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, it's so cool to watch him drive. So kind of a bummer that he's out this season. And like you said, you mentioned the other guys and their the reasons a lot of them were leaving. But what I like, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but what I like is there is a big change in between in the series with drivers. For one, you obviously get the wild cards, right? Which add a bunch of spice into it. But then even like the series where we're fighting for a championship, there's a massive change with who's coming in, who's going out, and that's kind of different when it comes to FD. So let's go to this page. Are any of these guys new? I don't believe so. So this is the other group of Jarko Yula, Jarritinen, Jacob I'm not going to
Jaskonski?
Yes.
This is great. I like you trying these.
Yeah. Juha Pointelasco, you got Dwayne McKeever, Jakob Kroll, Jason Benet, Espen Road, Kevin Piscolti, Benica Cherba, Dave. Why is there a W there?
David
Spossub?
David? Is it pronounced Dave?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. You got Diago Correa, and then on to the final page, which is the new page of people. You have Clint Van Ort was in last year, but you have Nicholas Bertans, who was at what round?
Riga.
Riga, and did really well.
Riga.
Yeah, Alan Hines, who was at 2 rounds, and he did really good at Poland.
But he binned the car in Ireland. He's also the son of Kieran Hines, which is kind of like the grandfather of drifting, if you will.
Right. So big shoes to fill, but he's obviously a huge sim guy too, as Brennan has pointed out to me multiple times. You have Nassar, who would jump in on rounds, I think, in the past, and now he's in for a full season. Yves Meyer is back. You have Simon Olsen making his rookie debut in Drift Masters, which I've always found this interesting. How we will get some FD European drivers that'll come over and then they drive Drift Masters for the first time. And I'm curious why they would go that way.
It's I think a lot of it's like that. The grass is greener on the other side.
Okay.
Right. Like there's a lot of that. Oh, it's much better over there, right? Like if I'm going to compete, I want to go do it over there as opposed to what maybe in your backyard. So I think that's a lot of it too, is just like it's, it could be cooler to go do it on that place as opposed to maybe your home turf.
All right. That's valid thinking there. And then George Christophorou. George.
Christophorou.
There you go.
Yeah.
He drove last year. Dave Egan drove last year. Glad he's coming back. Harry Kerr, new guy. Saw him rip at Mondello. Dude's a ripper.
Dude's nuts.
Solid.
So I'm excited to see that. Timu Asuma. I feel like he was was it Poland?
I think so. And I believe he ran Drift Masters a couple years ago and then took some time off and came back.
Gotcha.
Someone can correct me on that.
Yep. You have Karim Hani. I'm not sure I know him.
Big Karim. I don't know a ton about him, but I know he's running. I believe he's running in Oman as well.
Okay.
This week. So I've been kind of like keeping an eye out for him.
Gotcha. And you got Enver Haskasat.
Haskasat. Yeah.
Okay, another new guy, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Konstantin Shirenko. He's one of the guys that runs the Trinity cars.
Yep.
So he's just running a full season now. I think he came and drove Poland, right?
Trinity was Spain and I think one other round.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
So I got a bunch of questions revolving a lot of these guys, but I guess we can start off with Who is the guy that you're most curious about for this year in Drift Masters of the new people?
I think it'll be a good conversation with Simon. Like,
Right.
obviously, I dropped that video not that long ago, the FD versus Drift Masters video, which
Yep.
shockingly didn't get me fired from either series, which I thought might happen.
Well, I did see the ending, and I was like, "Yep, yeah, I knew you were gonna say that."
What,
But
straight down the middle? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people got to go watch it.
Well, yeah, I think
It's
that's
a great video, and I
Thank
learned
you.
a lot watching it. So you should definitely go check it out. Honestly, it's the best video I've seen comparing the two series, because you do talk a lot about the actual differences of the locations and what they have to do in each location to make things happen, because it's very different.
Yeah, I think what's going to be interesting is to see how Simon does rankings wise. Like if he falls within a similar ranking spot than he does in FD, it's just kind of bolsters my point more, which is that when it comes to like the driver ability, they're pretty much equal. Like James is dominated in both, right?
Right.
And not to like shit on a guy like Yves Myers, but like Yves has struggled in both. So there you've kind of got your top and your bottom, right? Josh Reynolds, you could put that in as well.
Yep.
But there's not many drivers who have done both super successfully. Obviously, Connor and Jack, a little bit different because they're not running their own vehicles, things like that. But like, Connor had a really good year, his first year. Like, they're in similar spots.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it takes a little bit of time to get that sorted and really figure it out. So to me, Simon running Drift Masters will be a massive litmus test to like, or potentially prove my point that like the driving in both series is so close. And yeah,
I mean, the challenge with Simon is you've seen these massive swings in performance and even in FD depending on the chassis he's in.
Yeah.
So like that's also the hard part to kind of figure out. Now it says S14.9 on there, so I'm assuming he did obviously drive James Dean's I would assume it's an S14.9 last year. If he's doing that again, I have high hopes for him, because that is a car that you're not gonna have to do any R&D on. It's a championship winning car. There's really no excuses there, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much spot on. Like he's got the best opportunity, and I think the Simon that's always driven the best is the Simon who doesn't have to do anything but drive. Right? Like when he first came into FD, he was more or less running his own program. He had help from Norway and teammates and stuff coming over, but he struggled. And the more you and I both know Simon quite well. Kurtis knows Simon in general. I have no idea what Brandon knows. But the Simon that only has to focus on driving is the best version of Simon's driving. When he's got to do other shit, and I think this goes with so many other drivers as well, not just him. The more shit you have to do that's not driving, the less you're focusing on driving and the less well you're going to do. So if he is a true arrive and drive with James, I could see him doing a lot better. And even like Simon of last year, his team kind of finally getting everything sorted. He was doing less of the logistical shit and his crew chief and everybody else is doing a great job and kind of just were like, just drive the car. That was the best he's ever looked in the Supra.
Right.
It's a nasty chassis. It's very rewarding when you get it right, but it's on a knife edge.
Right.
So.
And just knowing from behind the scenes on that Supra this year, like they did a lot of changes over the year.
Yeah.
So the car was a completely different car by the end of the year in terms of competitiveness. So there was just a lot of R&D on that car this year. And like you said, though, it is not an easy car to drive. I mean, look at a guy like Dave Egan. Was so frustrated last year that he literally built another car just to go try it out, and shocker, building a pro car in 2 weeks doesn't go well.
Not usually.
Ever that I can think of. So it's just one of those things where what I think it does is I think it makes Papadakis and Osbo look really impressive, and I think it makes Peter Vicek look pretty impressive. Now, it took both of them a couple years to get the car where it needs to be competitive, but I think both of those guys are absolute rippers in those chassis now.
Yeah. But I think, honestly, anybody on that list kind of has a relatively good story. Like we kind of touched on Alan Hines. If he can really get things dialed and maybe get out of his head a little bit, he's going to be absolutely nuts. I don't know a lot about Enver, so it's hard for me to like really provide a ton of detail there. Harry Kerr's a fucking legend in Ireland. Like
Right.
he's just one of like just a super scrappy driver. And you got to remember, like everybody he's been driving with through his entire career have gone on to do incredible things. He's just the next one coming up through that. Kadim, same thing. I have to do a little bit more research on Constantine. The Trinity team is a great team. I believe those cars were more or less spec built off of the Shanahan chassis. Correct. If I remember correctly, those Trinity cars were supposed to run RDS, and Jack was the one that spec'd them out. So they're basically clones of the Shanahan cars, just with different drivers. Well, if anybody's figured out the 8.6s, it's been the Shanahan. So chassis-wise, that's not an issue. Nasser's an incredible driver. Now that he's got a bit more time to like really get used to everything, I think that's going to be nuts. Nicholas Bertrand's podiumed in Riga. It looks like he's got the full backing. Yeah, he's got the full backing of HGK. Like having Kristaps be your spotter and like the main dude backing you is nuts. And then Asunma, someone reminded me, thank you. He's a Finnish rally champion, so relatively new to drifting, but we've seen with other drivers that like coming from the rally background has been nuts. Even was it Mika Keski-Korpi, Lori Heinonen, and Juha Poitalaxo were just doing a rally this past week, and I think they placed like top 10. So like there's a huge crossover between the two.
100%. And you know, for me, it I think one, it makes like a rookie of the year chase be super competitive and super exciting.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. I would assume, even though like say Simon and Nasser, even Harry, quite a few of these guys actually have driven a round or two of Drift Masters, but haven't done a full season. Would they be considered a rookie this year because of that?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think it's your first full season.
Gotcha.
I mean, someone else brought up or same comment that Asunma did 4 rounds last year as a wild card. So like, do you consider him a rookie? He did half a season. He did more rounds than Bagsy did. So like, you know, how does that work out?
Gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, what I like is it freshens it up. You don't have the same guys doing stuff every time. And what I'm excited for is we have seen some of these guys do really well. I thought Harry was a guy to beat at Mondello, and he just happened to DB'd in his battle.
Yeah.
But, like, dude was absolutely on it. I mean, Simon made top 8. And we've seen a lot of these guys be competitive, which is the exciting. I mean, Dinkless Bertan's got 3rd in Riga. Like, one of the hardest tracks of the year, and he's just going to come in and get 3rd.
I mean, it's his home track, so I would hope he'd do well.
Right.
And he was in a Eurofighter, so like, you know, everything should go well. He's also been, man, I've been hearing people talk about Nick Knack for 4 or 5 years now. Like, he's one of those guys that you're always kind of waiting on the opportunity. Like, there's a few guys like that, like Drift Squid, where like incredible driver. You're just waiting for someone to sign him or him to catch a break to then be, you know, really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see how that one plays out too.
Yeah. And like, obviously, Brandon, you know Alan pretty well. It sounds like he's driving the S15 that he drove in Poland. As you saw, that was a really competitive car. So I think he's another car.
Jack's driving it right now, so that's a testament to that. It's in Oman right now, so hopefully it, knock on wood, stays together. But
with Jack driving, that's not a guarantee.
Yeah, no. I saw the announcement and I'm like, Alan might want to check up on that when he comes back on the crate. But yeah, no, I think it's very cool to see a lot of these guys. I think all but maybe one have done a Drift Masters round in the past as a wild card, so it's cool to see them jump into the full-time seat for sure.
Yeah, I think Karim has. I think he's the only one who hasn't done one.
Yeah, but the two Irish guys and Nick Knack, out of the new people coming in, I could see them. So Kerr, Hines, and Bertens, I could see them like making a big wave big wave next year for sure.
Yeah. Kurtis, have you ever seen a Drift Masters round?
Yeah, I've watched a handful of them, but last year, I didn't get a chance to watch many, right? Because like between FD and Clutch Kickers, anytime I was watching anything else, I was watching what was happening here in the U.S. with like small series, right? Like Gambler and
Oh,
Hot
I know.
Pit,
Yeah.
Catch My Drift,
Yeah.
and those guys.
No,
So that's where I spent all my time watching last season.
So this is actually a question Matt Field had, because he didn't really have a chance to ask. But so how does Drift Masters use the Wally system?
Purely for review.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought it was. I just
Has
wanted to verify.
no say on judging. They used it more for contact analysis and contact like at fault and things like that.
Yeah.
Outside of that, like when it comes to judging, that's the only real way it was used last year. What it's going to be this year, I actually have no idea.
Gotcha.
What I can say is I've had one official meeting and a lot of like unofficial conversations about what it will be like integrating the Wally system into the broadcast more for this next year. So I would expect there to be more information from the Wally system in the Drift Masters broadcast this season.
But they only used it strictly as like an aid to the judges.
Just an
like
aid.
If there was a really tough call, they would go to the Wally data, kind of see what really happened and stuff.
I would argue that I used it more than the judges did. Like I had it pulled up at all times to like check data, and I would try and pull stuff from there whenever I could. The drivers used it quite a lot to go back and check their runs and like check competitors because they all had access to it as well.
What about the public?
It wasn't like
access.
I don't think there was like an official public release, but definitely people got their hands on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever like a post that went out that said follow along Drift Masters on the Wally system. I just think it was like for us in the know that like knew somebody, you could get it, right? Like we could call Michael right now and get the link if we needed to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Send him a quick little WhatsApp text or something.
Bro, he was
hey, brother.
he's been back and forth with me all off season about shit. There's a few things we have on the go right now, and I feel like I've been talking to him more in the off season than I have during the season.
Yeah, I talked to him after the last one and told him that he needs to get with Nate and get on here and actually because everybody like people will reach out to me asking questions. And I'm like, guys, you got to talk to the guys that run the system.
Yeah,
I know.
We know nothing compared
of a huge system.
Yeah,
and he's the guy that he's the brains. So
yeah, and I don't think FD has released anything of what they're actually doing next year, but assuming it's going to be. Wally just seems like the popular system that's out right now since Drift Masters using it, Clutchers using it. I'm just going to assume probably FD would be using something like that, if not the actual Wally system.
That's everyone's guess.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's guess.
Yeah, and so with that, it's like it would be, he must have like so much data just from all the different series, and I'm really excited to see how qualifying goes because. What would be the really interesting part is, and we talked a good bit about with Matt Field on the whole qualifying thing because he's obviously had his interactions with D1 in China with the DOS system.
The DOS system, right?
Yeah. So it was a very interesting conversation. But my question is, do you think FT's qualifying can now go as fast as Drift Masters qualifying?
I think it'll be close. But obviously, we still have commercial breaks, 5-minute timeouts. Like we still have other things that can't be solved by a computer. I think it'll be quicker. I think there'll be less replays. Mm-hmm. And I don't. And for the record, like I don't know how they're planning on implementing it.
Right.
My guess is they would allow whatever system to do line and angle, and then the judges would then take over style. That's the only way I could see that operating because like Michael's gonna shoot me here.
Well, the thing is, I feel like they said it was going to be fully automated in the statement.
I believe it said computer aided. I don't think it said fully automated.
No, it said. I don't think it said fully automated, but I don't think it said computer aided either. It was somewhere in like the middle of that. Like it was going to be
area.
I'm going to find that statement. I'm pretty sure it said
somebody pulled the
fully.
statement up.
Pull up the papers.
I know.
Show me the birth certificate.
I know within like 99% of judging, at least the RDL system can handle qualifying for that percentage. Like there might be a 1% chance it slips up, but it can do 100% of it. But style, I would imagine it can't do style as a category because
No. How would you?
Yeah,
like, there's a question.
Give
me what's the mathematical equation for style?
Right? Well, it's very low, big wheels.
So it says we will officially be using it. Okay, let me restart. Qualifying in the Pro Series will officially be judged in large part by machines. So
okay.
In
Large part. So
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying. Large part is not completely or definitively.
Right.
Yeah.
That is my guess as to how they're going to do it. That's the only way I could think of it. So what I was saying that Michael's going to kill me on is during the OIDC streams, I had the Wally data pulled up, and I was more or less comparing what Wally was saying against judges, and there's a discrepancy. And that discrepancy to me is the style part. Like it's going to get line, it's going to get angle, not a problem. It's going to get things like speed because those are definitive measurements.
Right.
The only way, and this is something like I've discussed heavily with a lot of different people, the things we thought of when it comes to style would be if you were to create some sort of equation, I don't know how you divide, add, subtract, bracket, exponent, whatever, but it would have to be something with speed, rate to angle, duration of angle, and like some other modifier in it, and then you averaging that out over, the period of a run or something along those lines. That's the only like mathematical way that I could think of it. Because really, what
style's off the eye, right? Like it's off of what you see. And
right,
so,
but a stylish run is normally a snap to angle, right?
Yeah.
It's something that it still has to have. It's very difficult to get a good style score with a shit line, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
So and you can't get a good style score without angles. So like I think it has to be a rate to angle and and there still has to be a bit of a speed factor to it.
I would love to see speed come back into.
Oh, that's fucking controversial.
Oh well, that's my stance on it. And anyone
I think a minimum speed.
Well, the
I
thing
agree
is
with you on
they
that.
No, man, speed should be a part of a judging factor.
Yeah, Kurtis used speed in clutch kickers.
Yep.
But what if it's speed and angle as like a derivative of or like a minus from? So like you can have the speed, but if the angle's below a certain threshold, then like the speed doesn't count or something.
We did average speed of the whole run is what we did to judge on speed.
Okay,
Like
I guess you could do that because if you did, let's say, line angle speed, if your angle was lower but your speed was higher, those would offset each other, right?
And well, I will say speed was like the lesser of the category too.
Right.
Like so if you were faster, you would get like some bonuses there, but it was broken down like I think our split was like 40 40 20, I think, and speed was 20.
What's going to be interesting is like what happens if there's a technical failure, right?
Oh, I can tell you what we planned on doing with the technical failure.
Just review by human judges and move on.
Nope. No, as it was, we wrote it in our rule book that there was a chance that we would have to send you for a run again if it didn't report the run or it had an issue. And then like, if there was a true blooded, like, hey, this isn't going back up technical failure, it would revert back to like just normal judge qualifying.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we wrote it in there as like safeguards basically. But like, I will say like we did it twice. And of those two times there was one run or two runs total over 2 rounds that weren't like recorded correctly, and they were still mostly recorded. They just had to be tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I mean, Michael would obviously be a better option for this, but from my understanding is like it'll record live data, and then it has an error correction phase at the end to account for any like very large discrepancies. Like if a car looked like it moved 100 feet in half a second, it will then more or less remove that data and then interpolate where it would have gone between those 2 points.
Well, and you can go in as a person into the program and adjust a score and stuff like that. So
right. Well, but
I will say like, and my judges did that, and I would love to have you guys talk to them about it so they could actually explain why they did it, because I don't fully remember. Yeah. But they did it, but it publicizes that on the data stream. Like you'll see human correction on the data, and that raised a ton of questions everywhere as to why there was like a human modifier in there and all that, and we had to kind of explain it. Well, I let Will Parsons explain it because he's the one that did it.
Right. But my question is, I'm sorry, there's a bunch of people, good questions in the chat we're going to get to in a sec here.
Only good questions, though.
Yeah, a lot of good ones. I guess if FD's obviously not going full, I guess, what's the word? Fully machine judged.
Right.
How
Full Terminator.
necessarily is that going to make it faster then? Because the judges are still going to have to, there's still going to be 3 people putting up a number.
Less
know?
replays.
Well,
Less
I don't know
replays.
if they will though. Like, what's to say that they're just not covering their bases with their wording, basically saying like, "Hey, largely in part," saying.
Yeah. I guess you just give them a chance. That
the
they
judges are
could
still
not-
going to be
could
there
not use
watching,
it.
but
Yeah.
a machine's going to plumb out a score, and it should be mostly right.
That could
Right.
be the case.
Yeah, because like
That would be the smart way to do it and the fastest way to do it.
yeah, because that was what I was thinking was it has to be fully machine judged if we were actually gonna. If we
Unless
were
it was
actually gonna
style,
try and
because-
make it go faster, you know, because
Unless-
Yeah, maybe they just do style.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah, I
saying.
like Jacob's point.
That's gut. That's gut feeling, right? Style is like your first impression. It's like you can't
Right.
go back into a replay and be like, "Oh, look at that!" Like, you really can't. I have a feeling it'll be one run during the replay. The Wally data will be in. The judges will then put up their style. We will then get, whatever it is, 70, 80% of the score from the computer aided system, and then 20% from the judges, where the style is averaged over the 3.
right.
Bob's your uncle, we're out the door. That's what I think it is. It'll be one replay and we'll whip through it. But like, even what was the stream today? The Oman today was 3.5 hours. Right?
Yeah.
It's 2-run qualifying. It's pretty quick. Like there's no big, there's a little bit of a commercial break in between.
How many drivers
there's
were
no-
there?
Fuck, I think almost 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's say we
Wow.
cut that down to like FD's, 32. So we're going to remove what, 2/5 of that.
Yeah.
So we're, 2 hours or so. Someone can
Right.
do the math for me, but yeah,
Right.
we're 2 hours then. So we're basically a little bit longer than what we had for most seating brackets.
Right. Yeah. And
If it
the
can be
thing,
2 hours, that's not bad, especially
No.
at the pace that FD normally even runs competition and all that.
Well, and what's funny is like, I didn't get into this with the video, is if you actually look at the live stream times between Drift Masters and FD, they're not that far apart. It's not as big as like people let on. Like people make it seem like FD's top 32 is 6 hours. It's on average, it's like 40 minutes difference. So yes, it is a notable amount of time, but it is not nearly as much as what people think.
There's a discussion to be had there that I've had with a few people, and we don't have to get into it now, but it's like long live streams for broadcast versus short live streams. What do better overall? Who actually wants to see what? Like, it's a weird equation when you really start digging into it.
It's a retention graph, and I've from both sides I've heard conversations about retention. Like it is being monitored and studied on both sides of the pond when it comes to drifting, where they're looking at like, okay, where's the fall off? Like if you look at Drift Masters, that crazy battle at the end of qualifying, that's 100% to do with retention, right? Like you do that to keep people sticking around to the end, right? It's also why FD used to have the best drivers go at the very end, because you want to see what Frederick Osmo is going to do at this last qualifying run.
Right.
Of
right.
course.
Yeah.
If the last run is the worst driver, why are you sticking around?
Yeah. Why are you still watching it?
Right. The bottom 8 second qualifier, I think was good. I personally would have liked a 1-run qualifying and then the bottom 8 drivers battle it out for the remaining spots.
I
you have
think
a
that's
hybrid
the way. I think that's a smart way to go about it. Like
That's how I would like to see it.
I mean, you could have the. I don't know how timely it would be, but you could have like the best of both worlds, where you kind of do like lock in your top 24, and then your bottom 16. You run a top 16, and whoever wins a battle in each of those populates your final 8 in a 32.
Well, a top 16 is like 2.5, 3 hours. That's the
Not a
issue.
full top
Yeah.
16 though, because you got to figure it's
Like
only
the
8,
4 or
that's 8
something?
battles.
or something
So
like
you
that.
run 16,
Oh, I know what you mean.
one
So
battle,
basically,
and the winner of each of those battles populates the last 8 spots
So-
of your bracket.
prospect seeding is what you're getting at.
Yeah,
That's
Which is
basically
what-
most
which
prospect
is what
seeding
pro-
is you
that's
win one
what-
battle.
that's what pro seeding was originally said it was going to be, and then it turned
Yeah.
into a full competition that first year at Long Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll never forget. It's going to save us tires, and I was like, "How does running a whole extra 16 save tires?"
It saves everybody who's not in seeding tires.
A whole bunch.
I will
Yeah.
I will say I will absolutely fucking die on this hill though. That seeding was the best thing to ever happen to Prospec. I think what it did is made for it gave the drivers who would never even have a chance to battle. And I would argue that we will see more retention. We will see better drivers coming out of Prospect than we've ever seen if we keep seeding the way it is.
You want a really hot take? The drivers that couldn't make it to a battle ever in Prospect should probably just go run some grassroots and
100%.
Pro-Am stuff again and like
100%.
hone their skill, right? And so they stop just burning. And I don't mean this is like just disrespectful to any of them, but like
I'll say
you're just burning all of your money so you get 45 minutes of seat time in Prospect when you could be advancing your skill set, running your local grassroots comp series or Pro-Am or whatever it is amongst drivers that, while they're not pro drivers, they're at least
Right.
giving you runs to where you're perfecting tandem instead of
Yeah.
only driving practice and a handful of runs in pro.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people can you even say that about making the jump to pro? It's like there is so many times where it's like the idea of going to that next level of driving is so like that's what you want to do and accomplish, and you have the opportunity to do it. It's so hard for people not to take that opportunity and just literally go and keep practicing, even though that's
I
what
get it, but they
people
also
say that all the time to do that. But like to actually go do that is, I'm sure, extremely difficult, especially if you have the opportunity to do it and maybe the sponsors are there for that year. It's like, how do you know they're going to be back for the next year? So it's like it's a big challenge when it comes to that kind of stuff.
For sure, but I'm more so looking at the guys that don't. It's Prospect. Most of them don't have the big sponsors
Right.
that are paying their way. They're paying out of their pocket, and look at the turnover rate as a result, right? Because you just get, say you do 2 seasons of getting beat down and failing in qualifying or even failing in seeding, right? You just go to each round and do 1 battle and go home. And now you spent every dime you had and you didn't win anything or really get anywhere doing it. And so you just filter out. And we've seen a lot of that over the years.
Yeah, you get 3 practice laps, 1 battle for 10 grand. That's what your weekend is, right?
And that's crazy when you could go to a grassroots comp or a Pro-Am
I agree.
really maximize your seat time and put yourself into a position to have the good program to make it sustainable.
I think Swan said it years ago, which is like, if you didn't dominate your series, don't move to the next one.
Yeah, and
I think
100% correct.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And there are some drivers who didn't dominate, who jumped up and have done well, but they're so far and few between.
Agreed.
Right? Like, even like chatting with like Connor O'Sullivan, like he was pretty torn about making the jump to pro because he was of the same mindset. He's like, I didn't win Prospect. Why the fuck would I go to pro? And ultimately, like, I think he was talked a bit more into it, and obviously they landed some really good sponsors that probably would only make that jump to go into pro. And he did really well in his rookie season. So did Tommy Lemaire. But like Ben and then okay, look at Ben Hobson. That's somebody who truly dominated Prospect, like
100%.
without a shadow of a doubt, dominated Prospect. Jumps into pro and struggles. Now he did jump into the most difficult car we've ever seen in drifting.
Yeah.
And has struggled, which Denofa struggled in, James struggled in, Adam struggled in, Vaughn from time to time has struggled in. Every driver that's ever gotten into an RTR has struggled. So that's going to happen.
But I think it's case based, right? Because like that was that first year that we finished in the top 3 with Haitley, right? Like he was pretty dead set on going up, and I was pretty dead set on us staying back because I believe that we needed at least another season of Prospect to really make sure it was the right decision, make sure it was the right move moving up. And it wasn't until he finished in the top 3 again in Prospect that it was like, all right, well, for better or worse, we need to go up because you're going to have to, you have to go against these guys up here to really move forward at this point.
Yeah, but I think once you stop progressing, I agree. But like, admittedly, I'm a little bit concerned about Corey Talaska. Do I think
he's not going up?
I don't
He's
think he's
staying
making
back.
the jump.
Is he?
I'm pretty
No.
sure. I think.
Okay.
Really?
I might be wrong, but
Yeah,
I know-
From
I know
what I've
they
heard, I
gave
don't
him-
think he is.
I know
No.
they gave him his license because basically he was in first all the way through last season until the final round.
of course,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's earned a lot. I mean, he deserves to be up in pro, but from
I agree.
I
Is it-
personally think the smart move would be to stay back one more season and then go up.
And I would say the same thing for Cody Buchanan as well.
Agreed, but
Yeah.
he's
Agreed.
going up for sure, Eric, right?
I mean, but once again, please fucking prove me wrong. Like
Yeah,
I don't want to be right about this at all. I
Right.
want the Cinderella story. I want Cody Buchanan to come out and just start murking people. Like that. There is nothing that would make me smile being told to shut the hell up more than watching Cody Buchanan take down some absolute monsters. But or if you go into it realizing that you're going to get murked every round, and your biggest accomplishment, at least in this case, is going to be making it out of qualifying.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of drivers realize, and I don't think I don't think anybody truly realizes until you see it firsthand how big the jump really is in skill
Yeah.
gap level from top spot, let's say top 5 of pro spec going into pro is a massive jump.
Yes.
And nobody has any idea. Like I'm not going to say any drivers' names. But I was talking to a driver that was considering going up, and they were like, "It's going to be so great. It's going to be amazing." I'm like, "Man, I'm going to tell you right now, Long Beach 1, just be ready for bumper cars." They're like, "Oh yeah, and comp," and I'm like, "No. Like straight out the gate in practice, everyone's driving like they're trying to win. Good luck."
Oh yeah. Was it who was it that came out? I remember Connor Shanahan's first run in Long Beach 2 years ago. And Kurtis, you may have even been up there, but I remember turning around and all the spotters there, and everybody was just like, "Oh shit," because it's like that's how it should be. You
And
should
that's
come out of the
Pro
gates
one.
and look incredible. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's 80%
out
of the
the gate.
drivers in pro.
Yep. It's a
So-
huge jump. It's a massive jump. It's a cool jump.
Yeah.
You do get to a point where you're the big fish in a little pond, and you need to go up to the big pond, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I just think some guys make that jump a little too soon, and I mean, even the jump from pro am to pro spec nowadays.
Yeah.
I think people make that jump too soon.
Well,
Yeah.
here's my question. Do you think Drift Masters has a better system of weeding, not weeding out drivers, but you know what I'm saying, like a better
Feeding, like feeder series.
feeder series, yeah, better feeder
isn't
series than like FD would have.
Yeah, I
There
don't.
isn't.
There isn't. Yeah. Technically, there
It's every national series. So in some ways, yes, because at one point in time, Drift Masters, you actually had to be a champion of your country or be an event winner at whatever events to get into
Yeah.
Drift Masters. It's not the case anymore. But if you look at a lot of the drivers that are in there, they are top 3 ranked in their country. You know, even though we don't, and we should, someone should build a proper country-based ranking system for drivers. I think it would be incredible. But all of them are top ranked drivers wherever they are, and you've got 40 something drivers. So if you're not, you're just not going to make it out of qualifying. That's just how it is. And
Sure.
we're not going to see you in the show, and we're going to talk about you on your 2 runs, and that'll be it.
I mean, it's true. I mean, we saw that, you know, from a bunch, not a bunch, but we saw that from drivers last year, and it's just, it's an interesting series because here's my argument for the wild card stuff. What's cool about doing the wild card stuff and then qualifying is you can bring in a big name.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can get all the publicity from bringing in the big name, even if they're not maybe the best driver in the world. You still get all the publicity, but then if they don't make it in the comp, then it's like, okay, no harm, no foul. You know, it's like you're not ending someone's chassis in a battle, I guess, in top 32 and ruining a championship run or anything like that, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Unless it's practice, but
But
you know
that-
what I'm saying. So it's like that was an interesting way.
it's amazing how soon we forget, though, that like at one point in time, FD had 46, 48 cars on grid, and it was making top 32. At one point, Pro Spec had like
Pro 2.
Pro
Remember
2.
2 days, lucky number 17. It was like 30 something drivers with a top 16.
Yeah.
Back when with Riley Sexsmith and everything.
Yeah, so it was like, I mean, yeah, all 3. I mean, once again, Brandon, no offense, but the other 3, we spent a lot of fucking time in the trenches in Pro 2 watching incredible drivers have a bad night, and that's their season, right?
Yeah.
because they didn't qualify. They got no points, and they basically lost a championship or they lost whatever.
They'll come back, I promise. Oh my gosh. See, this is the thing, man. This is what. Where are we going, guys? Where is everyone? What in the hell is going on now? They were there. They show up and then they disappear. Why is everyone disappeared? All right, we're back. You see, this is what I was supposed to do. This brand new computer, and that was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're testing it on my episode. I appreciate this.
Hey,
Sorry, Jacob.
hey.
every episode is
It's all Nate's fault.
It's Bush League, man.
I don't even know what to say. Like, we were running good. Everything looks fine. And then, oh my gosh. And then people are going out. I wonder if my internet's, like, having issues for some reason. That would suck. I really hope my internet's not going to die on me. I apologize, guys. See if I can figure out a way to go about this. What I might do, actually, one thing. Let me check one thing. Pull this out. See if Wi-Fi is going to work any better. All right. We're going on Wi-Fi now.
ProArt board will not take 126 gigs of RAM. It only takes
it's
98 or
just-
96.
No, it's just one of those boards that
Do
only
we need
take
to
up
leave
to
and come back to get rid of all the names?
96.
I love that Kurtis is ducking down because he thinks that.
Oh,
Nate-
well,
Look,
okay,
dude, I'm a
so
mechanic, not a computer guy. You know. Like,
okay, so I took the Ethernet cable out of the computer and it seems to be working now. So
Wait, do we need to leave and come back to get rid of all the Nates?
I'm gonna try it.
wait, what? There's
got-
more. There's a bunch of me.
I'll take a picture and send it to you. Hold
Oh
on.
my gosh, this is
It's
so much
beautiful.
fun, guys.
Well, mates, there's so many.
There's so many.
Did it fix it, Jake? Going in and come back.
There's less. There's just black screen Nates. I don't even
Can
know
you
how
see me
did
at all?
this. Yeah, I see you.
Yeah, there's a bunch of you for me. Beautiful. I'm just gonna keep it. We're just gonna rock with this.
Okay, so
So Jacob, you know it's good catching up with you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
We don't get to talk enough at rounds anymore. You're
No,
always
I
too
know. I'm too busy.
What do you
I stop-
mean?
I stop by your pits every single time.
Yeah, you're right. I'm usually. It's gonna be worse this year. You know what I'm doing this year, right?
No, what are you doing this year?
I'm gonna crew chief Dustin and Andy.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna take on a prospect team and the pro team.
Jesus, you're a glutton for punishment. sir.
Damn.
Look, man, I think we're not live right now, right, Nate?
we're live. We're live.
Oh. Oh, stop.
Wow.
Big
wanna-
announcement.
Might want to put a bell on the cat you just let out of that bag.
I know.
No, I mean I don't care about people knowing that one part. It doesn't matter.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
the other part then?
They're both my boys.
exactly.
The other part's a secret.
Oh, okay, you can
Ooh.
DM me. That's fine.
Yeah. No, but we are back to somewhat normal. We're on Wi-Fi now because apparently Ethernet cable decided to die. I didn't know that was a thing. Did you know?
Not a PC problem.
No, it was
It's a networking issue.
It was
It's
the
a Nate- it's a Nate
Ethernet
problem.
cable just
a Nate
decided
problem.
to die on itself.
He
Happens.
doesn't know what a Cat 6 cable is. It's okay.
Cat
Brandon,
60,
why don't you
baby.
fly up there and just
Oh
fix all
yeah,
the
my
problems?
bad. Yeah,
What's-
you're
I
right.
actually don't know what a Cat 6 cable is. What is that?
Oh, I have a tool.
It's
to make that. You want me to mail it to you? It's in my toolbox.
Oh my god.
What tool to make Cat 6 cables?
Yeah, I got a little
Yeah,
little tool thing.
I was gonna say I've got a testing tool.
All right, let's hit up some of
anyway.
these questions in the chat before, we lose you guys again. I don't think we will. Now that we're back on Wi-Fi. But so Jay Rizzo asks, wait, so Simon is doing both FD and DMZ? That is what it sounds like. He's on both lists. So from what I've gathered, it sounds like from here it's James Dean's S14.9. And then I haven't heard anything else from FD, so I'm assuming it's going to be the Supra. I know they put a ton of work into that car last year. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's a super competitive car this year, and I think it will be. I think they made a ton of improvements from last year, so hopefully he's going to have a better season in FD as well.
I think he drives an S chassis better than he drives those cars.
Well, I think that's pretty definitive. Yeah.
I feel like that would be universal.
He looks so good in the Audi car, you know.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
Dude, I would look good in an Audi car.
How good did Ben Hobson look in the Audi car?
Yeah, but Ben's not a good comparison, right? Because Ben had to jump into one of the RTR cars, and it took the two best drivers in the world multiple seasons to figure out those cars. So
yeah. So both of them went from the easiest chassis to drive to two of the most difficult chassis to drive, and then they're struggling, and people are like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah,
it's like
the Mustang is for sure the most difficult one because James and Chelsea both did not have amazing seasons the first couple times they drove them.
Yeah.
Seeing James Dean spin out in Long Beach in the RTR and in battle, and I was like, I think this is the first time I've ever seen James Dean spin out in competition.
Those are hard cars to drive, man. Like
they look it. I've never driven one, but they look it.
Ben getting into one and doing even remotely as good as he's done in one is like,
yeah.
All right, you guys. Most people might not get it, but again, the two best drivers in the world struggled in those cars. So give them a little bit of time, dude. We're gonna see a whole new Ben this year, and I'm stoked for it.
I agree. People need to touch grass.
Yeah. Well,
whatever the kids
speaking
say.
of Odie's car, one of his cars is coming back this year.
Oh, that kid's.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
gonna be menace in person.
Sean Booth.
Mm-hmm.
Menace in person, right?
Here's my only concern with Booth. Only concern. I am on the record saying up until now that Sean Booth was the best drifter in America not competing, because I truly believe that. I just don't. Once you're on grid, once it's like, hey, you need to practice and then wait 4 hours and then go out and do a perfect lap. That's the only thing I haven't seen him do yet. He shredded the mountain. He's shredded at the LZ World Tour. He drives anything that he possibly can. He was absolutely decimating people, and basically any battle he was put into. The only thing I haven't seen him do yet, and I'm not saying he can't, is practice for a couple hours and then go on ice and then put down a perfect lap. That's the only part that I'm concerned about.
You want to play a fun game?
Sure.
You want to have a small wager on the first round of Atlanta with Sean Booth?
He loves to bet.
It's my favorite, dude.
I don't know
if I'm allowed to.
I don't know if I'm allowed to either.
Like FD staff, you know.
All right,
yeah.
we'll talk off record later, dude.
Me and Kurtis.
This whole conversation.
We'll
Me and Nate can continue our bet.
You guys can do whatever the hell you want. I have a fun little contract that has a bunch of shit about betting in it. So
okay.
Oh, you mean you have to advertise it, right? You have to advertise all of that betting, right? You have to make sure.
I don't do the ad reads, so I don't advertise anything. That's not my job.
Okay.
We can bet a high five.
It'd be a little illegal if you bet on the betting that is taking place.
I can advertise Nomadic if you'd like. There's a link. Yeah, I'm just saying there's a link on my YouTube channel if you want to pick up some Nomadic gear. That I can advertise.
There you go. That's great. Malik Hark said Harry's about to shake things up. He was talking about Harry Kerr.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep. Agreed.
Dude is an absolute ripper.
I give it 2 rounds before he really sets on fire, though.
I agree.
Yeah. Let him get through Spain and Italy, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Those two are going to be. I feel like it could go either way. Like they could just it could magically I think those 2 rounds, anyone could win it just because of how wild those tracks are. You know,
the upside is that Spain is very close to Mondello, with that big ass long straight high speed initiation into that corner. It's not exactly like Mondello, but it is fairly close to it.
It has the same foundation, I guess.
Yeah, big long, into a kind of a hooking turn,
into a right-hander.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I don't actually know what the layout's going to be for Italy. It just depends.
Yeah. No. And we have 7 rounds this year, so that's
we almost had 8.
Change. Really?
Almost had 8.
What was the deciding factor of the no?
I believe they could not get the proper clearance from the country's government to make it all happen.
That's a thing over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot more than one country they're dealing with. So.
Yeah. Interesting. So were the drivers okay with 8 rounds, or did they make a decision? in that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they don't really get much of a say.
Okay.
So
Actually, this is an interesting question. How much what the drivers say dictates what they do over there versus over in FD? Because it seems like the drivers in FD have a lot of say, or at least in what technically gets done or even dealt with. Like, I would even say FD does a fantastic job at listening to their audience. Like, I literally, FD Long Beach was the first time we'd ever been the Long Beach 2 round. It was the first time we'd ever been there. They didn't really have great media spots. I worked with Andy Luck literally at the event to give us better media spots during the weekend. So it was like, even they were willing to listen to us, talk about how we can help, market the event and stuff. But it was like, I feel like FD does a really good job at listening. Sometimes their hands are tied, but obviously they made the the jump back to 2-run qualifying, which I'm sure had to take some humility on their end to do.
Well, FD does like quarterly calls, and they'll do like check-ins throughout the year. Like, there's a fair bit of meetings, and like even in the drivers' meeting, and Kurtis can attest to this, like things will get modified right in the drivers' meeting, where it'll be like the guy, like drivers will kind of put up a bit of a hissy fit about a subject that 99% of the time they're 100% correct on. And then the judges literally go, if that's the way you want it, everybody want that? Okay, cool. We'll do it that way. And what's funny sometimes is it comes back and bites drivers in the ass. There's a few scenarios. I'm not going to point to them because I think drivers are still butthurt about it. But FD does a really good job with that. Drift Masters is, I would say, a little bit less.
Yeah.
They still have a lot of conversations. They do keep them updated. Like this 8th track, like we were talking about it in Germany. And then I think right up until Poland, it was still going to be a go. And then I think over the off season, it got snubbed. But yeah, it's I give the nod to FD on that one, but not by a ton. I mean, a good example of this is in Poland. They were talking about what constitutes filling a zone. Is it the back bumper or the back wheel? And the judges said the back wheel. So Laurie Heinonen cut 12 inches off the back of his S chassis so he could get closer to the wall with his wheel. So, that's something that like didn't need to happen that way. Like they could have just chatted with the drivers, but then you have like a Jarkko Jula in the Chaser who, if it's the back bumper, the dude's wheel's not even in the zone, touching wheel to wall. So, anyways.
Shout out to Jarkko, by the way, for one of my favorite professional drift cars, I think.
Car's nuts. It's great too, because he'll collapse like the entire rear of that car all the way to the back wheel into the wall. It's amazing.
Yeah, that is a beautiful car.
Yeah.
Gosh, I had the question and then it moved on me. Oh yeah, Kylie. Surprised. Jay Rizzo was like surprised to see Tommy Kylie not in the mix. I'm sure it has something to do with you can have so many Irish drivers in a European.
There's already enough conspiracy theories in Europe about Irish drivers. I don't think.
Oh yeah, I heard all about it.
Oh my God,
over there.
It's so easy to say that it's an Irish conspiracy as opposed to just being like the best drivers in the world right now are coming out of Ireland. There's just nothing.
There's something in the water over there, man.
Dude, I keep saying this. I drank as much water in Cork as I possibly could, and I'm not a better driver, so I don't think that's it.
Okay, well then maybe.
Dude, it's the roads. What do you mean? You know exactly why they're drivers over there. It's the damn roads.
Guinness.
They're literally death traps, dude.
Allegedly. Allegedly. I won't say the exact scenario, but allegedly, I took a ride in the back roads very late at night with 2 particular people, and they were doing ungodly speeds down a winding road while one of them was eating a bag of crisps and the other one was reaching their hand across and steering from the passenger seat. And I'm dying in the back, and they're fucking laughing the whole time. They thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And we're going at a very substantial rate of speed on a single lane farm road.
Yes, and that's what a lot of the roads are like out there. And the speed limits are actually insane on those roads.
Yeah. Oh, it could be 60 miles an hour on a single lane farm road. Mm-hmm. Like in a true single lane. Like I don't mean like, oh, you can get around. Like if someone's coming, one of you is going to have to back up to the next farm entrance.
To be fair, I feel like if they just trim their bushes a little bit, it would be at least a 1.5 car lane, but they just don't know what that is over there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. 2026, man. Nobody's trimming bushes anymore.
Is that? Anyways, I'm not getting into that.
That's
for a
crazy.
different podcast, Kurtis.
Oh, bringing back the 70s, huh?
It's like,
I am growing a mustache, so I guess something's in the water.
Yeah.
hey,
There you go. We'll all be Kurtis one day.
Oh, you don't want it. It's really annoying.
I know.
But yeah, no, Thomas Kiley, I think he was just ripping at Oman. Did really good in qualifying.
Yeah.
Dude has probably one of my favorite S13s I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, super clean.
I
I just think we'll see him as a wild card, at least in Ireland, if not one or two other rounds.
Yeah, dude's a ripper though. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll get in eventually. Phil asked, I watched your FD versus Driftmasters video, and my question is exactly how much better is FD over Driftmasters?
Damn, just trying to get me fired, huh? I just think they're completely on par. It just depends on what you look at. Like, without
here's what I will say. I don't want to spoil your video, but I do really like the point you made about FD is a lot more for technical side, and then Driftmasters is a lot more of the showy side of drifting. By the way they do their broadcasts. So I thought that was a really good point, and it definitely promotes towards a certain crowd.
Yeah, and what I can say, because Ryan Sage alluded to it on the Outer Zone Discord, if I can plug my own thing, is that there is notable changes coming to the FD broadcasts this year. So I'm hesitant to say any more than that, but noticeable changes. And for the record, these were being planned out and worked on well before I ever made that video. I actually didn't even know about these changes until after I made the video, because Ryan was like, by the way, now that you've said all this, this is what we're doing. And I'm like, well, now I look like an asshole. So, but it just means I get to make another version of the video. So
exactly,
I'm all right with it.
Yeah, you got to update it, but that's really cool. Yeah. So what you're saying is they're gonna bring in some crazy dude that walks around with a giant ass camera and shoots at 1,000 frames per second.
It's 10,000 frames. And it's a fucking $250,000 Phantom that he shoots on. It's wild.
Well, I will say, I know you guys aren't media guys, and but I just had to nerd out with him for a little bit when I was on Mondello. Dude is wild.
He gets in some crazy spots for the gear that he's holding.
Hang on now, Jacob is a media guy.
Yes, he meant you two.
Okay,
I meant you too. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I don't know how he just reads the situation and finds the best location to stand every time.
Yeah.
It's actually incredible the shots that guy gets. And it's not like he's shooting the entire run from an area. It's literally 10 seconds of a run. Yeah.
From my understanding, Ian, I think, said it in the broadcast that apparently this guy was just like a grip or just a guy on the crew kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he found the Phantom sitting in the back of the camera locker and was like, why aren't we using this? And they're like, nobody really knows how to run it. So he learned how to run it, and then just would go out and shoot with it. And they fucking tapped him into the live stream and this is insane. This looks so good. And then that's basically his full-time gig now.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Because the thing is legit like a rocket launcher size camera.
Phantoms are huge. They're absurdly expensive, notoriously difficult to shoot on, because the faster the frame rate, the more light you have to let in, which means you have to open the aperture on the camera wider, which means that your depth of field is super thin. So for him just to land focus, period, is incredible. And then he has to scrub back through it, show the truck what he wants to do it, and then they cue him, and then he hits play and shows that, and then that's what comes up in the truck.
It's incredible. It's actually what he does.
And he's a really nice guy. Not that he shouldn't be, but just a really, really cool guy.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many people that'll make comments to me about the Drift Masters live stream, and their favorite thing is the slow motion stuff, and it's
it's mine too.
It's so good. But shout out to that guy. But all right, did they account for qualifying? Oh yeah, so AK-47 boy asked if they are going back to qualifying in FD. They did announce that, yes. Well, I don't know if they technically announced it. It more or less got leaked, and
somebody announced it.
So yeah,
Kevin Shanahan. What?
Yes. But yes, so that
FD's
was
really got to scrub that Discord member list, man.
It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter. Hang on, that doesn't matter because I've always refused to be in the Discord because I just don't like. My team will tell me everything, so I don't see any reason to be in there, right? And that was the same way because I just got texted a screenshot of it, so it would have leaked anyways.
Yeah. It was an email before it was in the Discord.
Of course.
Yeah.
RX Muzzle LOL. I don't even know how to say your name, but he did ask. So he's talking about imagine FD going to the D1 DOS system. He said the higher entry speeds give more points. Let's bring back some backies and run again in the run again.
That would be sick.
I mean,
with backies.
Here's the thing though, is
What
like
did you just say, Jacob? You don't like backies?
No, I'd be down for backies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
back shots.
Easy,
What
relax.
is that? What we were talking about? No, but isn't with the DOS system that we were talking about with Field? It was an actual judge score was the entry speed. And do you think that there's a way that you could do that in the Wally system?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you wanted to?
Yeah.
The Wally system is fully capable of that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the intricacies of it, which is why I've
Right.
said
Okay. Yep.
it'd be better sorted to talk to the guys that develop it.
Yeah.
But the DOS system, like it was really cool to talk to Field last week about stuff because he knew so much about that system and I knew nothing about it. And so he really like that system's sick. It seems like it does a ton of stuff, but also the Wally system's really, really cool too. And you just need someone that knows the technical side of it a little bit better.
Yeah. The DOS, from my recollection, was like they would go through practice and figure out who had the best run. And then that was your 100 point was that run. That's why you could get like 106, 108 was because you did better than the best run in practice.
You can manipulate it basically.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You
really
could do a bunch of
easily.
shit.
And like,
And line was non-existent in that system.
I wonder how they program the tracks in on it though. I
don't
would
think
like
they
to know
did.
that because I know how RDL does it, Wally does
Yeah.
it, where
Just
they
Fucking
come out.
Michael at this pole.
Michael or Tony is walking the whole track while holding the Wally itself and mapping in each zone, the edging of the track, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a true 1-to-1.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious how the DOT system handles that.
Or one of the Garys.
Right.
We didn't have. I only got Michael and Tony. That's all I.
Oh, you never got a Gary? Oh man.
I never got a Gary. I got Michael and Tony, and then I got Tony only, and then I had only the Wally with Will operating it with tech support from Michael back home in Australia.
Got it.
There you go.
It all worked, by the way. All three of those scenarios worked very well.
Yeah. All right. I got a question from Malik. He says, to be fair, how many wild card drivers would actually be able to compete in the U.S.? I don't think it would be too many. So I assume
Shenanigans. Shenanigans.
Rental
I'll give you-
cars exist.
I'd give you a
There's ton
fucking
of-
list a mile long.
There's a ton of X-Pro cars laying around. You just rent a car and run it.
Yeah, Odie's got like 4 of them.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. I mean, Matt's got
No, I think he was
2.
talking about like the caliber drivers. That's all I read.
anybody from Europe.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's talking
Like,
about like the wild card
Canadians, too?
caliber. He's like, how
Huh?
many would actually be able to compete in FD, you think?
Yeah. I mean, anybody from
Be competitive.
Driftmasters right off the bat. Now you can get your Luke Fink in, so everybody can
Yeah.
shut up about that,
Yeah.
right? Because
I
Luke
think
could
somebody
just
said
come
that
in.
in here earlier.
I know they did. It's every conversation ever.
Yeah.
But then, so now Luke could go run. Bagsy could come over and run,
Yeah.
right? There's other RTRs kicking around that are monster associated. Like
Yeah, yeah.
there's just so many opportunities for
Japanese
it.
drivers can come in. Gushi's got a car.
Yeah,
One of them in there.
It'd be cool to
so.
see some of the old school Japanese guys like surface from it, right?
I would love to see a like heritage drifting series of like OGs, like bring back Sam, bring back Tanner, bring back
Senior PGA
Reese.
Tour with drift.
Exactly. Like, fuck, you ever watch like old timers hockey? Like it's the best, and it's just it's pure nostalgia. And like I don't care what the driving looks like because like you can once you've labeled them as like old timers driving or whatever, you're now judging them on a different scale, right? If you were to take Sam or Reese or even Tanner and put them in today's competition, they probably wouldn't look great. But if you put all of them against each other, they look fine, and I think that would be sick.
I might be wrong, but I could have sworn when Tanner came back briefly in that Passat, he said somewhere that the way drifting is judged now versus how it was when he was running it just made it way more difficult for him. He's like,
because
just
people
don't-
got close to each other now. Like,
Well, I think he was of the era of like speed was a pretty heavy judge part too, and that was how he still drove. It's like me driving a drift car. I'm a very low angle, high speed driver, so I do very poorly in competitions for me.
Great excuse.
Oh, I suck in general. There's video footage to show that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would like to see that.
I would like to see the old guys come back with old style judging if it was gonna do it.
Yeah, bring back old judges.
Yeah.
Why not?
Bring over
Tony and Andy.
Bring over your Coy. Like bring your Coy back over for it. Let him do some ripping. Bring
Someone said
Kawabata.
Kawabata. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, Kawabata's a river, right?
Fucking if you said to Tony Angelo today, hey, we're gonna do like old school drifting, just bring your Corvette out, 100% he's there.
Oh, for sure. There's a ton of old, before Pro 2 guys that would definitely just come out of the woodwork that still drive. They still have their cars. You just don't see or hear from them that much anymore because they're not on the pro circuits and all that.
Or even like some lesser known guys that were only in for a little bit, like a Dave Briggs or a Pat Sear or something like that. Like, right?
See Briggs come back. But I want Briggs to come back only in the candy red NASCAR motored 350Z. What a car!
That was nuts.
Oh, it sounded
so
so
good.
It looked so good.
Like those guys, I'm sure they would love to come back for a round or two.
Yeah,
right?
that would be sick.
Did we lose Brandon?
No, I think he's doing something.
No.
Sorry, Nate. We're old heading right now.
No, you're good, man. I agree though. I think it would be a lot of fun. What the cool part would be is if you could do it in like a horsepower range that wasn't crazy.
Just do it in a tire range, 215s.
Yeah, or something like that.
I think Gambler has that figured out 1,000%. Shout out to the E-Town boys. 235.
Yeah.
235.
235.
That's
200.
the tire.
That would be cool.
It still feels good. It still makes everybody a little bit more balanced. Like that is the tire. 300 treadwear, 235s.
300 treadwear. Okay, so you could still
235s.
So you could still run a Corvette versus a Miata, and they're on relatively close footing.
Well, I mean, most Miata guys are even smaller than that, but they're like 205s, 215s. I think I don't know what Taylor Ray ran on his, but I'd imagine it was probably
that was an LS Miata, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, so was Ben Julian, I think was his name, right? And the other one that was also an LS Miata, but I saw that car recently on a 195, keeping up with a pro car on 265. So it's all
with
possible.
enough toe in, anything can happen, man.
Hey, but 235s is the tire for sure.
100%. Yeah, and so if you could create a drift series, what would you create? I mean, obviously, you, Kurtis, you literally have the Clutch Car series that you're doing, but like,
let's hear Jacob's opinion on that.
Yeah,
I would do 3 events in a weekend. 2 of them are top 16. One of them is a top 32. And you can do it. It would suck, but you could do it. I would have a true unlimited class, even if it's only a top 8. I don't care. A true tube chassis, maybe limit them at a 355 width, no full slicks, but you could run a semi-slick. Fucking let's eat. Let's just see what we can do, right?
I don't think you can call it unlimited if you're going to limit it in any way. You just got to let it be like...
You just got to let it happen.
Okay.
Tube 40 style cars with anything underneath them that they got.
I'm cool with that. Whatever. Like, we've been talking about it. People are already building them. Hot Pit already has regulations for it. We've done fucking everything but allow them. Let's just give me an unlimited class. Let the Sorensens throw $1 million into a drift car. Let Mike Kojima go crazy on CAD. Show me what we can build with a 5.5 foot long trailing arm suspension, on full slicks. I want to see it. I'm tired of talking about it. Everyone's like, it's a bad idea. It's going to ruin. No, it won't. It'll be fucking insane. And I want to see it. So give me that. Even if it's top 8, right? Even if it's top 8, I don't care. Everyone's like, oh, there's not 32 drivers. We don't need 32. Even if we have a top 4 and they run 3 times, I don't care. But it could happen. There's enough people. It could happen. Right. Anybody who doesn't think they're an idiot. Do you have any idea how much money's out there?
Right.
So give me that. Keep Pro basically the way that it is,
Yeah.
and then have a Pro spec that is a Pro car. Get rid of the steering column, get rid of the pedal box, all that fucking, like get rid of the stock ECU, make them a Pro car, but make them run on a 235 or a 255 or something like that. That's how I would do it. I wouldn't change anything about Pro. I like it, but I would want a true or as close to true unlimited, and I would get as close to a Pro car as we can get, but just on a smaller tire, so it doesn't matter what else you do.
Interesting. That's cool.
Because I don't know if us limiting pedal box and steering column is necessarily saving anybody any money.
It's not.
The sequential thing saves people money.
It doesn't.
But
there's no advantage to the sequential. When they made that sequential rule, there was 3 drivers in Pro 2 or Pro Spec or whatever it was that had sequentials, and not a one of them finished in the top like 20. I think they were all on the bottom of the field that year.
They just had a bunch of money.
And having driven both a sequential and an H pattern car and everything else, there is zero advantage to that sequential, in my opinion.
I would argue I've seen more sequentials blow up than I have H patterns.
As someone that's rebuilt a sequential a whole bunch, I would also agree with that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I don't think the steering column is safer. I think we've created better steering columns now that an OEM one may not be safe.
Yep.
I would probably if I was going to change anything about Pro, I would get rid of the subframe has to be OEM. I think it has to be OEM spec, but allow them to make a tube frame one, because we don't have any more subframes for a lot of cars. And I think there's so many modifications that are allowed now in those subframes that we're so close to just being like, hey, you know what? This brand, and this brand, you can have, an OEM pickup point subframe.
That's basically the WiseFab V3 for the S chassis, right? Like
it's what I'm getting at.
It
right?
is like this much of an OEM subframe at this point, and you might as well just allow it to be. Same with the pedal boxes, because you have like all these adapters now, like the boosted elites that are legal that mount 2 masters, and it's like, okay, this is just a pedal box with more work. Is all this really is?
That's all it is. And like
let us put pedal boxes back.
Yeah, I understood for a little bit. I don't think it had the desired effect that maybe they were going for on it. I get the sentiment. I like the sentiment. Yeah, I agree with it. I just don't.
I get what they were after.
No one has come to me with, hey, this is why this has worked.
Right.
Maybe it has, and I don't know. But and maybe if Kevin's watching, he'll fucking call me tonight and we'll have like a 3-hour conversation on this. But I don't know if it's worked, and no one's proven to me that it hasn't. All that I hear is bitching and complaining from car builders going, this is so much work and is not safer and is not cheaper, because now I have to change cage, I have to change seat setup, I have to change all this shit to adapt to something that hopefully in 2 years' time I'm taking out anyways.
Right.
Well, and that's what we did with Andy's car. Right when they passed that rule, he was already halfway through the 46 build, and it had column, pedal box, all the normal stuff. And we had to go back to all the OEM stuff. So it was just more work. And then when it went Pro, all of the OEM stuff came back out and it went back to pedal box steering wheel.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, I get what he was after, trying to make it more obtainable, more of a spec series. Like, I love the tire rule. I love the ECU rule. Like, all of that made sense.
The tire rule I'm all right with. I do miss the days of having different tires in Pro 2, but I do like the fact that everybody is on the same tire. I mean, controversial, everyone's paying the same amount of money. I do like that.
It's a good tire. It's not like it's like a terrible tire. So it's a good tire. It works well. I mean, obviously I'm going to be biased towards missing the days of when we were running Achilles and Nexan and all that.
But do you think
the GT is still a good tire?
I bet you if you took those, like, I'm curious, once again, please someone correct me, but like, if you took a 1, 2, 3 of yesteryear and put them against a brand new GT now, is it a better tire?
I would bet any amount of money. If it was a brand, like, it can't be an old stock 1, 2, 3. It would have to be like same formula, just made, ready to rip. I would bet 1, 2, 3 is still a better tire.
I think there are faster tires out there now. They're just not in FD.
Yeah,
Correct.
I could agree with that.
Yeah.
I could agree with that. The Volino stuff is
Oh, it's super glue.
Yeah.
It's
The
nuts.
Zek Nova JR 500 or whatever that thing is,
Yep.
also insane.
Have you run the Lewis Lance 420 treadwear tires?
I haven't. I've done the 300 and the JR 500, and the 300s are sick. By the way,
Go, honestly, just go give them a run. Like,
I'm
just
gonna.
spend
I've
the
got this
$200
piece
bucks.
of drunk G35. I'm gonna order me some and
Fuck yes.
throw them on there.
Fuck
dude.
yes. I had an absolute blast. I got 8 laps on the oval at OSW.
What?
And 8 laps on the skid pad on those tires.
8 laps on the oval is the part that I'm trying to understand.
And I still had enough to run the skid pad for an entire session.
I did the last time I drove OSW. I did 1.5 laps on the oval before I exploded a tire.
No, they are phenomenal. I was running 40 psi in them, and I could do it in third gear. There was some clutch kicking going on,
Right.
but I could do it.
Are you gonna drive OSW's spring break event?
If I'm not somewhere else, I should.
You should do it. I'm gonna come down and drive it. So I'll buy
You
some
want to
of
stay at my
their
house?
things, and we'll do some driving.
I'm 30 minutes from the track, right?
Yeah. We'll do some laps. Come drive.
Just fucking come stay at my house. I'll get the barbecue going. We'll make a time of it.
We'll do it.
There you go.
It turns out my trailer fits the G, 10 sets of tires, and a smoker in the back. So we can do all of this right at the
That's
track.
amazing.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah.
We're in. 2 G35s and some bad ideas. Let's go.
I love it. I'll have the cage in by then, hopefully. Or you can just come down early, weld the cage in for me, because I have a terrible idea that I think I can do it with an Amazon welder and a generator, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I can or I can't.
You know what, man? Live your life. I wish you the best. So good.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
man.
Yeah.
Sorry, we
Welcome to
keep
drifting,
derailing you,
folks.
Nate.
It's okay.
No, dude, I love it, dude. So I mean, here's the thing, like, you and I, Jacob, are kind of going through the learning to drift session right now, which is kind of.
Whoa.
I mean,
for
that's
the
never
record,
mind. Never mind. You've
I have
driven a lot.
I've been drifting for almost 10 years, man.
Right.
What do you mean learning to drift?
Sorry,
Don't
but
lump me in with
but you didn't
Fuck
drive.
up, dude.
Like, but did you have your own car and stuff, and you were driving a bunch, or was it?
Yeah.
Like,
He had a
okay,
Miata.
okay.
Yeah, I had a Miata, I had a Thunderbird, I had a 5 series
Oh, that's right.
BMW.
You had the.
He had a
Thunderbird.
turbo coupe Thunderbird.
I had
He
a
the
turbo
cool
coupe.
one.
That thing was sick.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know why I
5
thought you were
series?
like. You were just getting
How
back into
dare
it.
you? I am.
Nate,
For the
do
record,
your
I am getting
homework,
back into it.
dude.
Yeah. No. Well, I'm learning, but I'm having a lot of fun.
You're doing a good
breaking
job, man.
stuff.
I've been watching the videos. You fucking picked it up really quick.
You're ripping.
I know.
Well, I mean, I know Kurtis over here is like the anti-sim guy, but I have to definitely
am.
equate it to the sim stuff. For
What do you-
sure.
What do you think? This is for all of you.
Yeah.
One lap of sim equals what percentage of one real life lap? So 100% is 1-to-1. It is the same level of experience.
Real quick,
1-to-1.
Real quick.
I'd probably say 30%.
I'm not going to give an opinion because I don't have enough experience on a sim because I hate them and I'm terrible at them.
I'd say 30%.
Brandon, what about you?
It comes down to, I get real nerdy. I'll say like 15%. Like something like this behind me, like you're not gonna get as much. Where if you have like 3 screens or VR, and you can, the real big thing is like understanding where your head's moving. I think that's a big thing. If you have the understanding of that, I think it's like more like 40%, 50%. 60% of one lap.
If you get to
right?
like a motion rig or something like that, you're
I
closer.
don't even think that. Like if you just have the triple screens, like that's probably like your 50%. I'd say 60% there. When you start to add like motion and stuff like that, like you add like vibrations to your seat, you're at like 70%. Then when you start to add like motion and stuff, we're getting up to like that 80. I'd say the max we could get to is like 80-85%. The big thing that like I first like got into a car like a few months ago from just sim driving. Biggest thing is your like the sound. I think I got like kind of overwhelmed by how loud everything is compared to like the control of like your room.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
The heat
that
and
sort of
vibration and everything
yeah,
else, right?
heat and vibration, that sort of thing. Depth perception, pretty good. Just like being on like triples and stuff, but like that perception of like heat and sound is the big thing.
Yeah. No, that's
Just
fair.
in my opinion.
I
Yeah.
think that's my issue with sim though. Like all of that is missing, and I'm definitely too poor to afford a motion rig, right? And so like I'm sitting stationary, and there's no racket.
Yeah.
There's no like everything Brandon just said doesn't exist, and so it
Yeah.
just doesn't my brain doesn't compute it when trying to drive on a sim. And like I'll get it here and there when I try somebody else's, but man, it just doesn't transfer over. You guys come from sim to real world driving so much better than I can go from real world driving to sim. And
Yeah,
it blows
I'm the
my
same
mind.
way.
I
You
don't
just lose so much data when you go to the sim, especially like, I guess the normal sim. I'm very lucky where I build sims that are sometimes worth like $60,000, you know, but it's like the normal sim isn't that, and like you lose so much data when you just go to your, you know, single
Yeah.
screens, like the thing that I have behind me. You know, you lose so much going from the real world to the game for sure.
What I like is it gives you an opportunity to learn things about a track before going to it, which I think is a huge time saver and a confidence booster, especially
I think it
when
helps you with your mechanics too, right? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So I know what to do on this corner. So let's just try and do it and see how it feels. And like, you go through the first corner or first couple corners. You're like, okay, it's similar. It's a little different, obviously, in areas, but like, you get the idea before you even go to the track instead of like going to a track and having no idea what to expect and having to take the half the session to just learn the corners. You know, I feel like that's where
fair.
your money is worth it. And then for me, it's also it's a muscle memory thing, just knowing what to do in different scenarios and like practicing enough times, especially when it came to chasing. And I'm not saying I'm like great at chasing or anything, or like, but I wasn't afraid to chase, if that makes sense, or I wasn't like that worried about getting close to cars, just because I had done it enough in the sim to where I kind of knew what to expect and look for.
Yeah.
And then when I went and did it in real life, it was like, this isn't that intimidating. I just have to understand who I'm driving with at this point, because for me, they're all new drivers. You know, even though I've seen them drive over the years, and when I'm driving with them, I haven't driven with them like obviously in real life. So I'm learning people's habits and how they transition cars and what angle do they normally drive at and stuff like that. As like a first time driving with someone, and that was kind of what I was experiencing this year when I was learning to him, was like, okay, so how is it following this 335i versus how is it chasing this S chassis or chasing this E36? Like there was all these variances in chasing these different cars and different power levels that I was just trying to learn what some of these cars' tendencies were like and how they would transition and stuff. Just from that aspect.
No, that's fair. I think the ability to experiment, obviously, with sim is so much better. Like, the car I have now is the first car I've had with like a reliable working handbrake. Like I've never driven with a handbrake. So like driving the G at the last event was the first time where I'm like, oh, let's try and like actually handbrake on transition, because I've never done it. People are like, oh, it settles the car out. Yeah. But I actually struggled more pulling the handbrake in transition than I did just letting it weight transfer over and then keep going. I couldn't place the car as well. And for me, I was like losing laps trying to try something like that. Whereas if I got on the sim, I could give that a go and be like, okay, well, this is what the car actually does. Or at least, you know, a G would do, given that scenario.
Did you ever chase much, or are you allowed to do that with
cage there? Yeah.
I can't remember. Okay.
Yeah, it's OSW is weird. Like you can tandem without a cage. You can run the bank without a cage, but you can't have a passenger, even if you're on a solo run, without a cage.
Interesting. But okay, so like for me, I feel like handbraking is a lot more of a thing when you're in the chase. And just kind of that I use it a lot more to settle the car behind someone. That's where I have found a lot of usefulness. But then again, I'm not an expert here, but just for me, that's kind of where I would be practicing and using it a lot for checking up and stuff. And obviously you can left foot brake. There's all kinds of methods to do behind cars, but
me, even same thing. Like I would do a lap where I'm like, okay, no handbrake the entire run. You're going to run the run, no handbrake, forget about it. Next run, you're going to left foot brake every single corner. And I would do an entire lap, or every single lap, no matter what, I would left foot brake through some part of that zone. And then I'm like, okay, now you're going to handbrake every transition in every zone to see what that's like. And it's great to do it in real life, but looking back, I'm like, fuck, I could have saved myself a lot of time and laps and session, everything else, if I just did all this, on sim before I ever showed up to the track.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, for me it was a night and day. I did 2 events, got a sim for the winter, came back in the spring, and it was a night and day like difference for me when it came to driving. And it was for me. I will always have that. It's almost impossible to replicate that for people, just because either they have driven like Kurtis and then they're going backwards when they go on a sim, or you got someone like Brandon who started out simming and basically could drive most tracks with his eyes closed on the sim, and then is going to go jump in a real car and be decent out of the gate just because you have that muscle memory and you know what to do. So it's kind of, I feel like I'm a very unique case when it comes to where I definitely did not do great my first 2 events out driving, and then came back. Granted, the car was a little bit better when I came back as well, but it was just, for me, it was very evident.
But like that part, dude, no matter what anybody says, right? Like I've been drifting on the close side to 20 years now, right?
Yeah.
And there's still plenty, even now, there's plenty of events that I've gone to, driven, and been like, man, that was terrible. I drove so bad the whole time. There was 2 last year that I did. When I drove Trevor Root's car in the rain in Jersey, it was terrible the whole time, and I was just like, I'm so disappointed in me. And then Summit Point in December, the whole first day, every lap I did, I was like, what is wrong with me, right? So like that's always going to be a part of drifting. You're going to have your bad days.
Oh, I had that my last
starting
event.
out.
Yeah.
Like starting out in it for forever, you are always going to have those days in any motorsport. Just part of it. So like, but like you sim guys, like, man, I wish like back in the day, if I could have had that as a tool instead of spending every penny I had on the world's worst tires that lasted 2 laps, right? Like at least nowadays, tire tech has come up so much in the grand. If you don't overbuild, over crazy your car, right? Like you put together a simple, basic seat time car with bolt-on modifications and a good tire, you'll get 8, 10, 12, 14 laps out of a pair of tires. We didn't have that back in the day. We were running on whatever used leftover stuff the local tire shop would sell us for as cheap as possible, and we'd get 1.5, 2, 3, 4 if we were lucky runs.
What's a starter sim go for? Let's say you already have a PC. What wheel, pedals, shifter, handbrake? What's that going to go for?
Probably like $800. You can get away with it.
Do you think you would get more? Let's say you already have a car. If you took that same $800 and just spent it on tires and events, do you think you would get more out of it than you would spending $800 on a sim?
I think that would depend on where you're driving.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yes,
like what
because-
event you're going to, where you're
laps.
Yeah, like there's a lot of variables in the real world. You're going to get more seat time out of that sim overall.
Right.
There's
But
a
if
argument.
that seat time is only 30%,
Yeah, what percentage do you put that $800 rig at, Brandon?
20%, 30%?
Probably that like 20 to 30. Yeah, it'd be just something bolted up to your desk, but you know.
So, okay, let's do some.
100
I think you're going to have a better
That's
time
not
in the real world, personally.
Okay, so
No,
let's just
I
So
say
you want like all right, Jacob, you want like an example of a decent sim setup that like,
if you want to spend like decent money, like you spend, like say you have a PC, it's decent, and then you get 3 screens and like some beginner gear and like a chassis. I think you spend $2,000. Like if you take
Right.
$2,000, put into the real world, or $2,000 into like a pretty all right beginner sim with triple screens, or like a basic VR. That's more of a, I think,
Of a realistic-
better question, a realistic question. Yeah.
What do
Right.
they cost, though? I'm sorry if I missed
Where-
it. I was responding to chat.
like you're saying $2,000.
$2,000?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
$2,000, $2,500. Let's say
And then
high-end
what
where do you
percentage
have
is
it
that
on your
45?
website, Brandon? What's it called again?
the grassroots DIY package or something like that.
What's the
Bad
website,
taste.
Brandon?
Boundlessracing.com.
Yeah, you got to plug the website, dude.
There we go.
Yeah,
Gotta
I'm
teach you
pulling.
to-
I'm pulling it up. I'm trying to remember where's what tab is it under?
It is under, if you go to shop and then DIY sim racing bundles, and it's the one all the way over to the left.
Yeah, I guess like what I'm getting at is I'd be curious how many laps for that $2,000 you would have to do to then equate for the amount of laps you would do, like in real life drifting.
I mean, to be very, very like this is like playing devil's advocate, but there's so many
please.
great areas with this because it's like you practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Where I know, as corny as that sounds, if you practice the wrong things over and over again, you're going to develop bad habits. So if you get like the Drift Bible online, like that hour and a half long video online, great way to start learning how to drift and understanding the basics of, hand positioning, how to initiate, how to do the basics of things. The Drift Bible, like great. You do that and you incorporate a sim. I think even a basic sim, you hop into the real world, like you'll pick it up quicker than the normal person, we'll say. But
yeah.
I think
it'll train your muscle memory for sure.
Yeah, I think you will improve so much faster at a faster rate from practicing on the sim versus going to an actual event. Let's say you do 2 events a month for like 6 months. So that's 12 events in a season. You do 12 events and versus what do you spend like what $300-400 an event maybe on tires?
Say 400.
Yeah,
$4,800.
$4,800, or you drive a $2,000 sim setup for 6 months. I would say you're gonna have so much more value doing the sim setup and then driving, because you're going to get faster progression each event, because you're going to know already going into it what you need to do and how to improve. And then when you go back into the real world, you're able to find those adjustments a lot faster. I think this was the conversation we had with Zach Sullivan, because he's now driving in the real world, but he's the guy that got second to Brandon last round in the VDC championship. And that's kind of what he was saying. Is he was able to pick up drifting so much faster than other people he's seen, and partially maybe because there's better parts out there, there's better tires, like you're not like what Kurtis said on like scrubs from some shop, but also I do feel like there's an element where you're getting the practice out of the sim and you're getting that motion to where you know what to do. It's just doing it at the right time. And then you just get it done so much faster when you are going to these events and driving. And I think that's why I was able to start tandeming within, I think I had 6 events and then I started tandeming. And like I wasn't out of place when I was tandeming, which was the cool part when I started it. So it was like that was actually really cool for me to see, because I had driven so much in the sim. I knew what I needed to do. Even when I messed up, I was like, oh, okay, I know what I did wrong.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it maybe for me, it was some of it just watching drifting for 10 years and talking to so many people. Maybe I just knew from that. But for me, I felt like it was the sim, because when you're driving, you're not thinking about what you need to do. You just do what you need to do, if that makes sense.
Well, if you're decent, yeah.
So it's like, and at least that's how I felt. So like when you do it enough times in the sim, it becomes second nature. And then when you do it in real life, you're like, okay, I know what I need to do here on this transition. You don't think about it. You just kind of do it. And then maybe you did it a split second too early. You just make that slight correction the next time you go around, but you know I just feel like you get such a jump start when you do sim drifting.
You do. I mean, I think the sim stuff is for sure a tremendous aid and a tool, right?
And there's no limit on time that you could technically spend on it too. Like if you want to, and you can go every weekend, you can do it every night. There's so much more of a limit when you go out and drive 12 times a year, and it's like, how many laps are you going to get in those 12 events? And then
for sure,
it's like, I feel like you get so much more value out of an event that you go to. Let's say you did half of those events. I bet you if you simmed, like, let's say every week, like 5 hours, and then drove 6 events, I think you would be better than if you drove 12 events and didn't sim.
I don't agree because I see a lot of guys that do like a ton, and I mean a ton of sim driving on whatever track they're going to be competing on and this and that. And you watch them on the sim, you're like, holy like, oh man, this guy's going to kill it. And then they're out like first round and they've logged 200 hours on a simulator before that event. And they're out because they messed up. They're not out because their car failed or something
I think
they blew it. And so I think it's a wonderful tool and it's an aid and it can help you in a lot of ways, but I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison. You know,
No.
I mean, and what you guys kind of said on the
from a
percentage
guy,
of what each lap is worth.
From a guy who owns a sim company like myself, I think the one-to-one like realism comparison thing is a whole bunch of baloney because it's just not true.
Whoa.
I think.
Well, I would expect
I didn't
that as
say
a
it
guy
was
who's
1-to-1.
trying to
I said
sell
I'm
simulators.
just saying.
You do
Like,
5 hours every
realistic,
week.
you know.
And
Yeah, but I'm
then-
not trying to sell you a drift car right now. You're trying to sell simulators. I expect you to have that opinion.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's just that's what I'm saying is like it all comes down to like what I was saying before. It's just like it's how you practice, you know, and it's like the mindset also of how you practice. Because if you're going into it and you've done 200 hours and you're perfect like that last 10 hours, but for 190 hours you're just fucking up. You're just flying into the pond. You're just doing backflips. If you're fucking up a lot, then yeah, when you hop into the real car where there's pressure, like, oh shit, if I fuck up, it's gonna cost me thousands of dollars, you know?
Yeah.
I feel at that point that yeah, like that's gonna be bad practice. Well, we lost Jacob. It's bad practice, you know. But if you get into it and you don't even gotta put 200 hours. You put 20 hours, but you put those 20 hours and you have the mindset that if I drop a tire, I'm going to die. Or if I have some like so extreme in that sense, and then you go to an actual car, then yeah, I think you'll do better. But again, it's like there's so many different things to think about, like when it comes to practicing. You know.
Well, let me ask you this then, right? Let's take the money aspect out of it, right? Money is no option. The world's the limit, right?
Yeah.
You can go drive a real drift car as much as you want because the money doesn't matter. So would you choose a sim or driving the real thing for the same, like hour for hour?
Well, yeah, you would drive a real
thing.
car,
I
but
understand.
that's not the real world. That's not the real world. That
There
we
is,
live
but
in.
there are
And
people that are like
I mean,
that.
there are some people.
Yeah.
Like,
But here's the thing,
And
though, is
ideally, the people
do
like
both.
that, they have both, and they have like
both.
a $50,000 simulator, and they have 19 pro cars that they could choose from, and just go and drive. You know.
But here's
I mean,
my
that's
thing.
what- I mean,
with-
like, so we all agree, like if money was no object, you'd be in the real car.
right.
Fine.
But
Okay.
Unless
what I'm
you're
saying
trying to be
is
the
I
best
want
sim
more
drifter.
people to stay in
Yeah.
drifting, and I feel like it's an affordable way to
Oh, I
stay
don't
up on
disagree.
things.
I don't disagree with
Yeah.
that. I think I think it is a wonderful tool and all that. I just again, you know, like me and Brandon are never going to agree on this, and this is fine. But like, I hear a lot of chatter from the sim side that it's a 1-to-1, and I just will not ever agree with that. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
I don't. I agree
I
with you.
don't-
I
yeah,
don't
that's
agree
not
with
true.
that. And
Yeah.
I own
Okay.
a sim
All right,
company.
well, then
I
we're on
think
the
it's a
same
bunch
page.
of.
We're
I think it's a
arguing
bunch
together.
of honky baloney bull crap that a bunch of people.
Damn,
have
bro. Easy
Yeah.
now.
said. My bad.
Dude, bullcrap is
Bull
aggressive.
crap.
Bull crap. Yeah. Gotta
He
say
said
it. dude.
baloney earlier. Now he's saying bull crap. It's escalating very
Jeez.
quickly.
I kind of like his terminology, to be honest.
Now I feel bad for saying fuck so often.
Yeah.
Same,
You're
dude.
from
I wish-
Canada. Okay.
I don't know why. I was saying fuck all the time, and then I said honky baloney bull crap. I don't know.
No,
why.
I like yours way better. Mine's just too
Yeah.
generic. Yours is far more creative.
Yeah.
Way better. Anybody can say fuck.
It shows the
Yeah.
spirit, you know, the spirit of the.
I get it. You got off customer calls all day. That's why you're still in customer mode.
You know, you got to drop a shit every once in a while, though. You not literally, but like say shit, and they'll just.
Well, I mean, you should do
they'll-
that too. You should be
Get a
regular.
little caught off guard, yeah, and then they're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa," you know, lets their guard down. Well, anyway, sales class. Here we go. Get
Incredible.
into that.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I hate to cut this short, but my meds are wearing off very quickly.
No, and I was gonna say we're about to hit that 2-hour mark, so I wanted to say huge thank you for coming on, Bod. This was a lot,
No,
it
no
was a lot
worries.
of fun.
This is good.
It was a good time. Thank you again. Go check out Jacob's channel. He did a fantastic video on Drift Masters versus FD that you should go check out, and he was streaming Oman. So,
Be streaming again tomorrow morning. If you guys want to check it out, it is on. Just look up Jacob Gettins on YouTube. You'll find it there. And if you want to support what I do, we do have a membership option, as well as the Jacko 13 story.
no way, dude. How does it disconnect on that? Really? I don't know what it is, guys. I don't know. I swear, I don't have control over that. I don't know what it is.
Bill asked, when's the next FD podcast?
As of right now, we are planning on dropping it. It will be more than likely on the 11th. But keep an eye out because we are launching a premium membership for the podcast. You'll get episodes a week early. You'll get a part of the podcast that's edited out for everybody else. So just the premium will get that section. There's a couple other things we're working on too, but those are the two that I can definitely promise right off the bat. So you'll get everything a week early and an extra section, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to cut out the spiciest parts. So yeah, got to be a member to hear those.
Hell yeah. Yeah, go check him out, guys. I mean, you guys know who he is. You hear his voice everywhere, so.
I'm sorry to hear that. All right, guys.
Thank you for coming in.
No worries. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Awesome.
See you soon.
Go feel better.
Thanks.
All right, you nerds. What do you guys got going on? I know, Brandon, you did win your competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For once. Nice. Yeah.
Decided not to suck. I get it. Yeah.
It's not, it's nice. It's a nice breath of fresh air to stop sucking in a video game,
Yeah.
But yeah, just normal things, building sims. That's like, go check out Boundless Racing and get your sim going.
There you go.
There you go.
Good plug there, buddy.
There you go.
Good plug.
Fantastic. I'm also sick, so this has been a trek. That's why I kept going black screen every once in a while. I had to go blow my nose, cough up a storm real quick, so it was fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the temperature drop, man. Everyone is like dying out here. It's crazy.
It's been brutally cold in Georgia for like the past probably 2 weeks, I guess. Right?
Yeah,
so, like,
it's snowed.
We're just not used to it down here, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're just not used to it being this cold for this long.
No, I know, and that's how people get sick, and then
we're struggling. Dude.
Everyone's it's rough.
Yeah.
But what are you doing? You look like you still live in like a half-built house over there.
It's first off, I'm at the shop, so we're in what there'll be walls here eventually. That's what the framing's for, wherever it is.
Yeah.
Right. You know me, I'm just building cars and then also moonlighting some construction work here and there, and been doing a lot of electrical stuff recently. So we're moving there. We're going to be done soon, and then hopefully, eventually, when you have me on here, I'll have an actual finished place, and I won't be envious of Matt Field like I was last week.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah. It was so sick. I was like, when he showed us like around it, I was like, oh man, I'm slacking. I gotta get to work. Like, what am I doing over here?
Yeah.
So, but we're still prepping for our big event, dude. If you guys want to come into the real world and go drifting, come out to Mid Pond Spring Break. Let's do some driving, do some ripping, crash some cars.
Yeah.
Oh, and OSW Spring Break too, which is 2 weeks before Mid Pond Spring Break. Go to that one too.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be at least 30 degrees by then.
If it's in March, so like it should be warm-ish.
Right. Yeah.
If you drink enough, it'll be warm.
There you go.
It'll be fine. There you go.
That's the real solution, boys.
Yeah.
Always is.
I want to say thank you guys for coming on as well. It was kind of a scattered pod with all of the new stuff, and for some reason my internet just decided to be screw you today. So
you figure that out, dude. You get some Cat 6 cables. You need to get some fiber optics in there. You need everything, dude.
Do they have fiber that far up? Like, I figure
Hopefully.
I would assume Nate's on like dial-up up there.
I must be, dude. I have like the nicest thing I can get, and it's apparently not good enough.
Get off of Xfinity. Go to AT&T. That's what you need to do.
I'm on
If we
Spectrum.
have it.
Dude. Spectrum's holding it
Or
down.
Spectrum. Or that. Anything but Xfinity. Trust me.
All right.
On the
All right.
Spectrum, have Spectrum, good to go.
Exactly. There we go.
I'll
That's how
have to
we
figure
do
out
it.
what's going on. I do have a another DDM IRL video, actually going over what you should upgrade on your car in the off season. Going through some of that stuff, so it should be an interesting episode. And then eventually we'll probably tear up the car in the next week or so. So that'll be fun. I'm kind of not looking forward to working in a barn in below freezing temperatures, but welcome to working in Michigan, and we just are used to it, I guess.
You don't have
There
heat?
you go.
What's up? I have heat, but it's like it's not insulated, so it's like it's only so
Ooh.
it only gets so warm in there. But yeah, thank you guys for checking out the stream. This